All right, good afternoon, everyone. This is Melissa from Social Studies Services. We are all delighted to have you here today. We are fortunate to have Miss Jessica Haynes joining us. She is a phenomenal teacher, and she is going to be sharing with us today some information about Active Classroom and getting started using it. She is really an expert. She's been using Active Classroom for 5 years now, and this is also her 6th year as a history and English teacher in Alabama. So I want to let you know before we get started and before I turn it over that there is a chat feature on the right. If you want to comment or respond or question, I will be keeping an eye on that. So feel free to type it in there and we will get that to Jessica. She'll answer all your questions. Also, there will be a short survey at the end. We hope that you fill that out for Jessica and let us know what you thought of the webinar. So we're ready to turn it over to Jessica. We're looking forward to it.
All right, thank you, Melissa. Like you said, I'm Jessica Hayes, and I am a certified active classroom trainer. So, if you are new to active classroom, this webinar is for you. So, let's just go ahead and jump right in. So, during today's webinar, we are going to be covering the different ways to search for activities within active classroom. Then that will segue into discussing some of my favorite go-to activities that I like to use within my own classroom, just to give you an idea of where to start your search. Next, we will look at the different ways to present the activities to students, as well as how to manage different student accounts. And then finally, we are going to look at the help page, which will help you answer any more questions that you may have. So first, when obviously getting starting with Active Classroom, you will need to log into your teacher account. And once you do that, you will see your home screen dashboard. So there are a lot of different ways to search for activities inside of Active Classroom, and this platform is very user-friendly. So the first way to do that to search is through a curriculum map. So if your district has opted to include a curriculum map with your subscription, it will appear in the icon, the curriculum maps icon on the left-hand side of the screen. So the curriculum map, it is developed based on your state's course of study standards. So what we have done is taken the thousands of possible resources within Active Classroom and put them into a much more manageable format. So to view the curriculum map, you would just click on the icon, and then you would see the list of all the maps that you have access to. So what you are looking at now is just the maps that I have access to. And so this is an example for you. And I am going to choose to look at the grade 11 US history map. So your curriculum map overview will look similar to this page. All of the units will be located on the left-hand side of the screen for a easy navigation. So what you are seeing is a Unit 1 overview. So to view the activity in the map, you would just click the View button. And then once you do that, you will see any applicable notes to help you execute the activities within your curriculum map at the top of your screen. And then once you scroll down, you will see all of the activities within this unit, and they will be listed in the order that they should be assigned to students. However, the good thing about the curriculum map is that it is very flexible. So if you find an activity that you find interesting during one of your searches within Active Classroom that you would like to use, go for it. That is completely fine. Beside each activity, you will notice that there are 3 icons. There is one that looks like an eye, and that is the view button, and so that's the way that you can look at a particular activity. There is also an icon to assign an activity to students, so you can assign an activity to one student, to a group, or to the whole class. And then also, if you have an activity that you just loved, you can favorite it. And that's an easy way just to find all of the activities that you really like to use over and over again. Another way to look for activities within Active Classroom is once you're looking at your homepage, you can click the activities icon on the top left side of your screen. So once you click the activities button, from here, there's like I said, a lot of different ways to search, but probably the easiest way is to search by keyword. So what you can do is type a word or a phrase into the keyword bar, and the activities related to that search will be generated. So for example, here I typed in American Revolution, and then all of the activities related to that event has appeared. So then when I scroll to the bottom of that page, I see that there are 9 pages dedicated to the American Revolution, and there are 20 activities on every page. So again, you'll see here, you also have the 3 icons again. To view each activity, you can assign them to students, and then you can also favorite them. Another way to search is by standards. So you will see the Standards tab at the top of the screen. You just have to click it. Then you will choose your grade, standard type, and then click Update. So once you click Update, you will see your State Course of Study standards. You will select the standard that you would like to search, but you do not have to click the green Update button again. Once you select the standard that you would like to search, all of the activities will automatically generate. So again, here are all the activities that generated for that particular search. Another way is through the Advanced tab. So on the top right-hand corner, if you click Advanced, 4 bars will appear, 4 search bars. And today I want to search just by using the series title bar. So once you click series title, all of the series that you have access to within Active Classroom will appear. So now I want to just take a few moments to show you some of my favorite activities for each subject matter. And because Active Classroom is so versatile, most of these series can be used across disciplines. So the first one I like to use is called Decision Making in History. And I've actually used this title for ancient history class. However, there's also activities that you can use for world or US history. So with this particular activity, students are given a historical problem, and they're also given various decisions that they can make to help solve this problem. So you can divide students into groups, you can do this as a whole class, or you can give the students the problem and the various solutions individually. And they have to make a decision on how to solve this problem. So after they make a decision, the teacher then reveals what actually happened in history. So this is a great way for students to learn more about the decision-making process and what it takes to actually make a very important decision. And these activities are wonderful to use as a unit, as an introduction to a unit. This title is called Power Basics, and I love using this reading title. It is great for our EL students, but it is also great to use as kind of backup information to back up the information that you learned in class or that the students learned in class, because I have found that when I use this title in the classroom, it basically said the same thing that my textbook did, but just in simpler terms for my students. So this is good for world history, but there's also titles for US, ancient history, and government. This is short text in history, and through this activity, students build reading comprehension skills just by analyzing text. So these activities are high interest. The students really do enjoy these activities and these readings, and they're just short enough to help keep the students' attention. I've used this title with my US history classes, but it also can be used for world history as well. This is History Unfolding. This is another activity that I've used for U.S. history. Basically, with this activity, students are given images that they analyze by answering increasingly more complex, higher order thinking questions. This is called Personal Finance, and it is a title for the economics class. And this title offers activities to help students become prepared for future success by teaching them budgeting, savings, a little bit more about credit cards, and other money management skills. This is Material World, and this is a favorite of mine. I use this for geography class. So students, what they do is they get to examine an image of families who live in countries from all over the world. And so this is actually part of a project. A photographer went out to all these different countries and asked families to bring their possessions from inside the house outside, and he takes a picture. And so students analyze these images and they learn more about the cultures, they learn more about how the families live, what they value, and it's also great because one of the skills that they develop is making inferences. So I just really love using this activity. It's a great as a unit opener, and it's really fun for students. And then finally, this is We the People. This title helps students learn more about the U.S. government and the Constitution. So this is a reading activity, and it comes in 3 different levels for easy differentiation for students. And you're going to have access to all 3 levels. But the readings in each unit, they are supplemented with interesting activities, discussions, and primary source analysis. This leads me to how to present these activities to students, how to teach them. Of course, you can assign the lessons to students for them to complete in class by clicking the assign icon. But you can also print all of the activities, and they all print the same way. The process for printing is the same way. And you can present these activities in the hard copy, and students can do group activities. You can assign it to them individually or as partners. But to print, all you have to do is click the printer icon in the top right corner. And then once you do that, a print activity box will appear. And you can decide if you want to select all, select the whole activity to print, or you can select just a few sections of the activity if you would rather do that. Or you could also print the full activity with answers, and this would be good if you would like a teacher's guide. So once you decided your print options, it is going to load as a PDF. And then from here, you can download that activity to your computer and save it, or you can go ahead and print it off. And what you're looking at here is an History Unfolding activity, and this is one that I have used in my classroom 2 different ways. The first one is by printing off the full activity, and I have posted the images with its background information around my classroom. I divide students into groups, and then I have them go to each of the images and have them answer the questions about them. And here are also the questions that go with the images. So they just go and visit each image and they answer those questions as a group, and then I bring them back as a class and we discuss the images and their answers. The second way that I have presented this lesson to students is by projecting the activity on the board and just doing it as a whole class. And I'm showing you this particular page because this is History Unfolding, what it looks like in a teacher account. So if you notice, you have the image, you can kind of see the image up top, but then here are the illustration 1 questions, and with the teacher account it also has the answers. So if I were to project the image from the teacher account, you run the risk of showing the students the answers. But so if you would like to do it this way, you would have to actually create an imaginary or an example student account. But just a little bit about projecting this image, this activity up on the screen for a whole class activity. I've done this and students really get involved. They have great discussions. Students that normally wouldn't speak out much in class, I really hear a lot of great answers from them. So this is just a great activity to foster discussion. So like I was saying, if you would like to present an activity to students, you would need to do it through an imaginary student account. Now, sometimes a district will actually roster students, so you would not necessarily, if that's what happens, you would not have to create any student accounts. Your district will automatically upload all those student accounts for you. But if you do not have that option, or if you would like to create just a fake student account for you to use, this is how you would do it. So first you would click the Manage Students icon on the left-hand side of the screen. And this would lead to this particular page. You would click the Students tab at the top of the screen, then click Register New Student. So register a new student, this information box will appear. So you would just type in a fake student name with a fake email and password. And with the email, when students log in, or if you log in, really, Active Classroom just needs the username to look like an email. It doesn't have to be a real email, so you can just come up with a fake one like I did. I just said student1@hayes.edu. And so you'll just fill in that information, click Register Students, and you will be good to go. You'll be ready to use that imaginary student account and project those activities to students. So if you have any more questions about Active Classroom, I know I went through that pretty quickly. I just wanted to give you an overview of how to search within Active Classroom. That seems to be a big question that teachers have, as well as what activities to really start looking at first. And I wanted to tell you a little bit about how to manage students. But if you have additional questions, you can also go to our help page. And to get there, there is a question mark on the top right-hand side of the screen. So if you click that, that will lead to the help page, and there is a user guide for teachers and for students. There's also short, quick videos to look at to help you manage your student's account. It tells you more about assignments and grading. If you would like to contact us, you can also email us by clicking on the Contact Us icon at the top right-hand side of the page. If you keep scrolling down the help page, you will get to the frequently asked questions section, and you'll notice at the bottom there is a series in Active Classroom bar. And if you click that, it will show all of the series that you have access to within Active Classroom, and it also gives a brief description of each, so it will just tell you a little bit more about those activities. This is a simulation, a reading, an image analysis. So this is a great way to learn just a little bit more about our activities. So just as a review, as to summarize this whole webinar, to search for activities, there's a lot of different ways. You can do it by curriculum map, by keyword search, standard, or by series title. I would really like to encourage you to search and to try Power Basics, Decision Making in History, Material World, History Unfolding. These are all great to check out. Short Text in History. You can present your activities by, assigning it digitally, but you can also project it onto the board, or you can print a hard copy. But if you project the activity on the screen, just make sure you do that through your imaginary student account. And if you have any more questions, please visit our help page. So, are there any questions for me about this webinar, or anything else that you might have a question about? All right, if you do have a question, you can still type it in the chat box. But if you would like additional information, you can contact Pamela Gothart. She is our professional learning director, and this is her email. Thank you all so much for attending. I know that went by pretty quickly, but I hope that you learned a lot. Oh, here is a question. I am teaching world geography, and I was wondering how to create my own mapping activity. Okay, so there are some mapping activities within Active Classroom. If you go to series title, you can find some of those geography activities, but also another way is through, it's by subject. So if you click subject and geography, it will show you all of those activities for geography. To create your own mapping activity, I know that there are some activities that allow students to actually manipulate and use maps, but I'm not really sure about creating your own activity. I haven't actually done that within. I haven't uploaded. I know that there is a way, but you can find that additional information on the help page. I'm sorry, I know that was pretty vague, but I hope that leads you in the right direction. Are there any other questions?
I just have one suggestion for that, creating your own mapping activity. That may be also a question to email Ms. Gothard. It may be a little specific, and she would definitely be able to help you with that.
Yeah. I know that there are, like, it used to be Stratologica. I'm not sure if it's called that anymore, but those activities, students can actually create presentations by using maps. So that would be a good question for Pam. She can give you a lot more information on that.
Yes, I've also seen where you can create your own activities. We had another question from Robert Murphy. And, you know, as many of these as I've done myself, I don't remember getting a specific certificate. Do you, Jessica?
I don't think there is a certificate for the webinars.
But as far as being an attendee, gosh, isn't there something that comes like an email after?
Yes.
Thank you for attending. So maybe you could use that for that. And if you needed something more specific, please email Ms. Gothard and she will definitely be able to let you know more about that. You guys have got some great questions. It's not often that there's ones that we're both stumped on as far as not seeing before or not having experience with. So this is awesome. So does anyone else have another way maybe or another issue that they've come into when they've been trying to use Active Classroom? And if so, we'd be happy to answer those questions. All right, well, I hope you have been given a great introduction. You have definitely hit the highlights and some of my favorite activities also in Active Classroom. So please feel free to get started, jump in there, take one activity, try it, see how it works, and move on from there. But I look forward to the next webinar, and I'm going to go ahead and close the recording. Don't forget that there will be a survey that will open up after we close the recording. So thank you everyone again for attending. Thank you, Jessica, for presenting. That was excellent. And I hope you guys have a great week and we'll see you at the next webinar.
Thank you.